Take the Leap is the podcast where we get real about the roller coaster that is entrepreneurship and life. Sure, some folks make running a business look like a walk in the park, but let's be honest, it's more like a wild ride through a theme park with a lot of unexpected twists and turns.
Join us, your co-hosts, Ashlan
and Tory,
as we spill the beans on our own real-life experiences and shine a spotlight on some amazing guests. From the highs of success stories to the lows of epic failures. And hey, we'll even throw in some cringe-worthy, laugh-out-loud, embarrassing moments for good measure.
So buckle up and tune in every Tuesday and Thursday for a dose of raw, unfiltered truth about what it's really like to chase your dreams and build a business.
Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or just dipping your toes into the startup world, we've got something for everyone. Even if it's just to make you think, wow, I'm glad I didn't do what they did.
Hello and welcome back to Take the Leap. Today we are having a conversation about what I think has just become like such a buzz and such a trend not just in marketing and everywhere right now, but the words AI. And it's funny because, people are just like, what do you think about AI? And I'm like, what in what context, and then the reduction of it just to AI. So let's remember, AI means artificial intelligence. It can also doppelganger for machine learning. And AI is in a lot of the things that we do out there. There's, I think what Asana will do it for you. I know that I use AI to transcribe our podcast episodes, to write blog posts about them that will eventually be up on our Take the Leap website. But yeah, there's just a lot of different ways to use it. And I feel like in marketing, there's just a ton of folks who are writing about it. So I guess my question to you, Tory, is, are you using AI in any way in your business? And what stuff has been good for you? What stuff have you been like meh about? And how do you feel about it?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I feel like in the marketing world, AI is a little bit of a controversial topic and a almost negative one. I think there's a lot of people who are really worried that AI is going to come for their writing jobs or their social media jobs or, all that stuff. And to that I say, that I just think is bull, because you can't replace the human element of marketing and storytelling with a robot. And I know that there have been some jokes that some movie scripts lately have been written by AI. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. But because the scripts were so bad and they were just a combination of 5 movies or something. And that was just a little funny note that I thought I'd throw in there. But it's true. It's if you don't have the skill set, if you don't know your brand, if you don't know what it is that you're trying to accomplish, you can't just have ChatGPT write you a full business plan on its own and a whole bunch of marketing content on its own and just copy and paste. And so to answer your original question, I use it to help me when I'm stuck, when I'm trying to figure out, how to move forward on some ideas, or, if I want a more in-depth spell check or grammar check on something, sometimes I'll just toss in some content and look for ideas on how to reword a sentence or two, just to make it sound more appropriate. I often, though, I use it the most for strategy and planning because, for example, I've done marketing campaigns and event planning and PR. And a lot of these things require timelines and kind of more in-depth timelines, right? Of what needs to happen 2 to 3 months prior to an event. And one way that this has really helped me save time is I'll go into the system and I'll say, okay, I have this event coming up. on this date, I want to start marketing X number of weeks or months in advance. Here are the elements I'd like to include: social media, printed materials, press release, yada, yada, yada. Here's the main messaging for it. Help me come up with a timeline, an outline, and a timeline for this plan. And within seconds, I'll have an outline and a starting point. And I think, obviously it's not something that I'm just like, okay, cool, done now. But it saved me, like, I don't have somebody who helps draft things for me. I do it all myself. And so just that process of outlining things used to take me sometimes hours just to make sure I got all the right elements in it. But now if I have something that helps draft things for me, then I can go back and put my personal touch on it and put the details, the really unique details to that specific client, to that specific event in the plan. I can go back and add to it. But it's just a really nice starting point. I feel like when you're an entrepreneur, especially one like a solopreneur that works for yourself, having another tool that helps you like that is it's a game changer, I think. Because, your time is so valuable. And if you can knock out some of these things, that'll help you a ton. And so, yeah, I've used it for things like that. I've used it when I'm in a creative slump and I can't think of a good title for something. I'll say, here's what it's about, or here's an excerpt. Give me an idea for a title, or, and it's been so helpful when I'm just, when I just need a little bit of extra help. So I don't think there's anything wrong with AI. I mean, I am not smart enough to have a conversation with you about the safety risks and the, all the in-depth tech side of it. So, leaving that aside, I don't think there's anything wrong with exploring new tools. And I feel like as marketers, we're always looking for the new technology, the new tools, the new fun things to play with, because that's just the industry that we're in. And I don't think there's anything wrong with using AI. However, I would say, don't plan to use it as a crutch. Do not use it in place of. Do not say, I don't need to hire a social media manager. I'll just have ChatGPT write all my social media posts for me, because that is not going to get you the results that you think it will. Even if you think it's a clever caption or a clever idea, like, you need to have a solid strategy with it as well.
Totally. Or you can, I don't know. I feel like, because I consume a lot of content on LinkedIn, and I feel like you can tell the stuff that's being written by ChatGPT, and sometimes it really lacks like pure substance, or it feels very like generic, like anybody could have written it. And so I do think that like, when you think about like the movies and the movie scripts, it was funny. We were rewatching all of the Matrix movies, and there was like a little bit of a nod to like AI in that, like, we're just going to reboot something. I think that's like an important thing to remember, is that it is learning off of other things. So, you need to embed your own brand, your own creativity, your own, substance into it, or else you're just repeating something that could have been said by anybody else. And also, it doesn't take into account like potentially your target audience, or, who is going to be the reader on the other end. I also want to talk about like some ethical concerns. It was actually interesting when I was at the leadership summit with the American Marketing Association. Somebody had shared the way that AI had generated different photos of him. And, he is a white bald man with albinism. And it like straight up gave him photos of himself as like a Black person. And so
Oh my
There
gosh.
is, yeah, it's just so wild, the examples. But, you still need, that's just, you still need that human touch. You still need somebody to look it over. You still need to make sure that, like, you shouldn't be using it to do like facts or percentages or statistics. Like, also, all of those need to be backed up with like actual sources, unless you were like the individual researcher. So, yeah, I think that there's a lot of opportunity to leverage AI as a tool to help us do our jobs faster, but not to rely on it to basically spit out good, high quality content for you and your business. It can be definitely challenging to get that out there. And I think most humans are pretty savvy at being able to tell, like, when it's kind of garbage. That's been done. Yeah. One thing that I thought was interesting that has been helpful that I've used it for is basically like taking transcripts of different things and asking it to like summarize the key points, things like that. I know that like I think it started to do that in Zoom. Like it can do an AI generated like notes document off of like whatever you talked about. So there are some kind of practical uses for it that way that can help your future workflow as well. So that's one of the ways that I've been using it. And then I don't know, it's super hit or miss. Have you ever used Canva's Magic Expand tool when you want to like fill in other parts of a photo? It's pretty ridiculous sometimes.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
There's somebody on TikTok that will do that, like with like album covers and like just like random stuff like that. And I just think those are so funny because they're never. Yeah, and like when you populate pictures, especially, and there's like humans in the picture, like. It's so funny when there's like 6 fingers on someone or like their foot is in the wrong direction. And I just feel like, maybe one day we'll have technology that can read our minds and can just transcribe everything we're thinking for us. But until then, actually, I hope that never happens because that's really scary. But we just, there has to be that human element. And I think that as much of a buzzword as this is, having authentic real life experiences in your business, having authentic content and being able to relate to your audience, that's what people are paying attention to right now. It's not just a buzzword. It's because we're getting so many messages every single day. Everybody is automating everything, which is great to have automated systems in your business to keep you consistent and all those things. But when it's become so automated and so generic and so impersonal, nobody's going to pay attention anymore. And it's, everything from customer service to the content you're creating to, just making your product or your service, whether you're making it super generic for everyone or you're really speaking directly to your audience like that. Those are things that will really make a difference. And so AI, again, I think can be a really great tool. I do not think it should be a crutch or something that you use to replace certain elements of your business. I think you're always going to need that human piece to it.
Absolutely. Well, we want to hear your opinions, as always, our dear listeners. So if you are using AI, if you have any favorite tools that you think we should talk about, please send us a DM on our Instagram or send us an email to aloha@taketheleap-today.com. We would love to hear about what you're using it for, how you feel about it. I feel like there's been a mix of like people either love it or they hate it or they're somewhere in between or they're scared. I've actually heard a lot of like fear about it. And like, I don't think it's quite to the level where it's going to be kicking us out of our jobs and our what we do day to day. So I would say embrace it and learn how to live with it. and go from there.
Yeah, because it's definitely here to stay.
Yeah. It's only going to get better or worse, however you want to take that side of the coin. Awesome.
Exactly.
Well, thank you, Tory, for indulging me in this conversation about AI.
Thank you, Ashlan.
And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Take the Leap podcast. We hope you found useful takeaways you can apply to your entrepreneurial journey. Subscribe so you don't miss future episodes, and keep in touch and follow us on Instagram. If you have business questions, shoot us a direct message or leave us a comment. We'll try to cover it in an upcoming episode. And visit our website, taketheleap-today.com, for more resources like our online course that accompanies this podcast.